Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Rory Gallagher.
Good morning. That's my tribute to Ross's visit last week. That was an amazing gift he left me with. Rory Gallagher. If you're not hip, and I was not hip enough to Rory Gallagher, Ross wrote me this amazing letter explaining the history of Rory Gallagher, Ireland's finest blues musician. This is a guy who influenced everyone from Eric Clapton to Eddie Van Halen to just about any guitarist you can ever imagine. And I've just been going crazy with right up my alley. And somehow, I guess because he was such a superstar in Ireland, I just never knew about him. And so been geeking on Rory Gallagher. What about you guys? What are you listening to lately? Love talking about music. And it's such an incredible outlet for us creatives, right? To sit back and get a little fuel and clear our heads a little bit. So Rory Gallagher, if you're at all into the blues or rock and roll, I bet Angie probably knows a little something about Rory Gallagher. Check him out. So hey everybody, good to see you. What's up? Yeah, Dean, you know all about Rory Gallagher. Cesari's on. Hey, Angie. You guys are already having some cool conversations. Yeah, you like my analog furniture there? That's yeah, I had all these records, so I had to get a record player. And actually, I don't want to give away my secrets. I know that looks like some badass vintage piece, but I got it at Target. Yeah. So you can go get yourself one at Target or probably Best Buy too. And it's cool. You know, the sound isn't incredible, but you can pop your headphones into there and get pretty decent sound out of that thing. Play your records. And I've been thinking that, you know, this is kind of like a talk show, and I don't have a band, right? So I'm gonna have to play records for the big intros. So all good stuff. I listen to Chief Chats and podcasts. Cesar, you got to get some music in there too, brother. You got to get the rest of the band filling that out for you. Right on, Angie. Fresh off of band practice last night. That must be so fun. I used to live with a band in Chicago. And I used to love going to their practices, just watching music be created, whether they were learning a new cover tune or somebody had an original piece. It's an amazing thing to watch somebody walk in with a riff and, see the rest of the band start to fill in the gaps. And, an hour later, there's this song that didn't exist before. And now it's a thing. It's real and incredible. I always thought that must be about the best thing you could do with your time on this planet is create music. I can't imagine anything greater except for maybe writing sales copy. Isn't that right? We're all teachers here on this crazy spinning blue marble. It's what we're here to do. We're here to learn and we're here to teach. And that's why we're lucky to have this amazing community. So, hey, everybody. Jim's here. What's up, Jim? Colin. Hey, Colin. Oh, yeah. White Stripes. A lot of White Stripes. Ball and Biscuit. That song is insane. Marcin. Yeah, Marcin. We'll see this every time. Yeah, it's my pre-recorded intro. Okay, let's jump into some threads. By the way, if anybody wants a hot seat today, I'd love to have you on. We're going to start calling for those in advance so we can set them up on the Chief Chats. But if anybody has a piece of copy or a business question that you think I can help you with, raise your hand and let's get you on the Chief Chat in segment 2. Right now, I'd like to hop over to the boards and check out a couple of hot and trending threads. Let me just share screen over here. Colin's up for a hot seat. Awesome. Cool. That'll be fun, buddy. Let's check out present to everyone. And let me get over there. This is such a great thread that I haven't had time to read through properly yet because I have so much to share on this topic. And so this is from Vani talking about finding the right mentor. Such a huge topic. And for me personally, and for anybody who's found good mentors, it's a life-changing proposition. I can, timestamp my entire adult life, even into my teens, through mentors, beginning with my stepdad when I was, 13, 14 years old. I consider him like a mentor. Somebody, to me, a mentor is just somebody that you instinctively know you can learn from, and who is willing to guide you, to share some of their wisdom and knowledge. Certainly when I got into stand-up, mentors were a huge part of my evolution there. And it's an interesting thing because it seems like anymore in the business world, on one hand, we're incredibly lucky to be in a business where so many people are willing to be mentors. But that also probably complicates it a little bit because it means it's almost like a marketplace for mentors, right? In our industry. And so you have to kind of think of it as you shop. And I guess that's a good thing. What I mean by complicating it is that it just doesn't happen as organically as it used to before there was an internet, right? You would just kind of go through life and people would come along who you knew instinctively you could learn from, and you would learn from them. But now it's more of a proposition. The great thing is, though, how much has our ability to find mentors expanded through the internet, right? And being in somebody's list and seeing how they operate and feeling influenced by them. And then they offer something up and you go, yes, you're somebody I want to learn from. I've noticed in my career, especially over the last few years, that the mentor sort of appears when I need them. And it's less about knowing exactly what their solution is or what their system is, more than it is me just feeling something about that person. That was true for James Schramko when, with Dean, it was similar. I maybe didn't know exactly what I would learn from Dean. I just knew being in Dean's world was a good thing. So Dean was one of the first mentors that I, straight up invested in dollar-wise, plunked down hard cash to be in Dean's world. Certainly that was a great investment. After that, it was Schramko, and then more recently, Jesse Elder. And I've found that my criteria, and I may be jumping ahead on the topic here just a little bit, Vani, but my criteria for choosing a good mentor is when I get on the phone with them and hear about what they've got, I want my visceral reaction to be, I'm going to be the best case study you've ever had, right? I want to feel so inspired about what they're teaching that I'm like, I'm going to reset the bar for what anybody should expect from this mentoring. And if that's sometimes been true and sometimes not been true, but what matters is that I feel that way, that I feel like, oh man, this is so exactly what I need right now, that I know, like, I can't conjure this feeling. It just happens. And I go, I'm in. At that point, who cares where I have to get the money or whatever else happens? I just know that this is the thing I'm supposed to do. Or if I talk to mentors and I don't have that feeling, I go, it's not that I will never do it. It's more that, I'm not as juiced about it. It's a little bit more of a, like, you know, it's kind of a logical proposition. Like, okay, I could definitely need their system to help me in this thing, but it's not that juice, that performer's juice. Like, I am about to step up and kill this. You know what I mean? So I'll give you an instance. Like, that was that way with Jesse. Definitely that way with Shrampco. I was like, all right, you know, you teach people how to build membership sites. I'm gonna build the most badass membership site. I'm gonna, like, you know, reset the bar for how you go about teaching this. And I think we've achieved that, certainly on our way. And so another guy is, for me, Bo Eason. If you guys know anything about him, he's a public speaking coach, an amazing guy. Look up some of his video. Bo Eason, Eason, Eason. He was a free safety in the NFL, the #1 free safety when he played. You know, a little dude who was, you know, that was the moniker always in coming up, was you're just too small to play, too small to succeed. And anyway, he teaches now. He's become an amazing public speaker, and he's a public speaking coach. And, you know, I watched him in a room of 80 people just hold everybody glued to their seats and could not take their eyes off him. Something really amazing to behold. And I actually used some of his tactics before my speech at the Freedom Fest event, and people's reaction to my speech, especially those that were there live in the room, was very different than any time before that. So I definitely have seen the results of his teaching. So that's, for me, what it's about. For, as you know, when you're finding mentors, how viscerally do you feel connected to what they've got for you, or who they are, you know? So don't know if that kind of came up in this thread at all. Really looking forward to read through this. But yeah, Cesar, I love how you're always like defining, what is this crazy icon you have here, by the way? Warmth, trust, and then it's like evil Santa. You crazy, man. That's so funny. Yeah, good point, Angie. Yeah, sometimes one-on-one styles don't mesh. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like, you kind of get on the phone with somebody or and just see, is this work? Does this feel like something? My man Gerald, yeah, thank you for the kudos, Gerald. It's been amazing to work with you as well. So great thread there. Want to quickly also talk about this thread here. I meant to kind of put this up earlier, and Jonathan mentioned this email that I sent out on the 10th with the subject line, 5 reasons freelancers stay desperate, bitter, and broke, and how to break the cycle for good. It was a pretty a strong response to this email. This is, speaking of mentoring, kind of advertising my new program that I'm about to enter the second round of. Working not exclusively with freelancers, but primarily freelancers who are working, but feeling a little bit stuck as far as their pricing, their lead flow, the quality of their clients, that kind of stuff. And I've devised a really effective, really powerful system for raising your authority in the industry, not only outwardly, but inwardly. The most amazing thing about watching the evolution of the freelancers who were in round 1 was how it helped sort of transform them and how they think about themselves and their services and their pricing, and just really be able to confidently, reframe the conversation they're having with prospects so that they never take less than they're worth. And when you do that, everything just raises the quality of the work, the quality of the client. It isn't like you're getting away with charging more so you feel stressed out. It's like, this is exactly what I'm worth, and you'll be lucky to get it. Not in a cocky way, but it's just a system for people won't get on the phone with you until they're, evolved into that idea. And if they are coming to you a little bit more cold, say on a referral, something, I'm teaching ways that you can change the conversation and make sure, for instance, if the first thing they want to know is what your price is, they're on the wrong call. They're not going to get that from you. And again, it's not like you have to go, I'm not going to tell you my price until you tell me these things. It's not combative. It's just a very organic exchange to where very, very quickly they're thinking, I can't even believe I thought price mattered a minute ago. You're the only person I'll hire for this job. So really cool stuff there. And so that's what this email was about. And what's interesting is the first time I reached out about this program, I just let some people know that it was available, and I had a bunch of conversations about it. And what was interesting is some people were perfect for it, other people were not perfect for it, and I'm really selective about who enters because it's about group synergy, and it obviously has to be somebody I know I can help, right? And this time, by sending out this email, because now I have such clarity on what this program is, the responses I've gotten there's been less response overall, but the people who are responding are so amazingly qualified for this program. It's really night and day. And so I'm having a lot fewer conversations with people, but everyone I'm talking to, for the most part, is a really good fit for the program. So that's been interesting. So what's the difference is I just got a little specific about the pain points. And these are really valid things that all freelancers and business owners go through. It comes down to why do we end up feeling bitter, broke, desperate, and sometimes even leaving the business just because we go, wow, it wasn't for me. I just couldn't get it going. And some of those things are, especially as freelancers, accepting a small role in someone else's success rather than creating big wins of your own. And that's something where you just have to balance it. If the most common thing I see around burnout is people feeling like, well, the only way to make more money is to take on more jobs and add more hours. And next thing you know, that's all you're doing is working, and you're going, how is this better than when I had a job? Yeah, I'm making a little bit more money, but if I actually do the math to what this is adding up, by the hour, it's not a good gig. And the way to overcome that is to have something of your own going. And that doesn't mean you have to create a course out of thin air or come up with some big major plan that you'll never actually get to. It's just about doing things incrementally that you understand that put you on the road to sort of breaking free and increasing your fees and all those things, so you don't feel like you're trapped. It's just this idea of feeling trapped in this role of, wow, like I'm writing copy or I'm designing websites that make people these millions of dollars, and somehow I'm fighting to pay the bills. Like, why would that be, right? So that's how to break free out of that. Letting fear and an imaginary going rate determine your pricing. That's a huge one. I have a whole system for determining your price based on what you want to make rather than what you think the market will accept. Sharing other people's content rather than creating your own. That's a big one. And again, we were lucky to have a place like Copy Chief where it's really simple to create your own content, because we're essentially doing it every day inside the forums, right? So that's a big one. And what I mean, the reason I wrote this one in particular, who I had in mind, is people who it's easy to get, there's so many groups out there now, right? There's all these closed Facebook groups, and everybody's got a group. And so, and if you're in any of these groups, you'll see a lot of the same faces in these groups, and you can see the types that feel like, well, I'm in the business and I'm learning every day, or I'm contributing, or I'm growing, because they're in the groups. But in reality, all they're doing is kind of parroting known things, or they're constantly referring to other gurus or mentioning books. And look, there's nothing wrong with that, But what it does to you psychologically is makes you feel like you're actually contributing something of value and raising your, your stock in the market. But all you're really doing is being a reference point for other people's stuff. And when that's all you do, people just assume that you're not somebody with original ideas or thinking. You're not the kind of person who's actually had some experience and created some wins. Again, nothing wrong with referencing other people's work, but when that's all you do, it's not good for your reputation. It's not good for your growth. So that's who I'm talking about there. Number 4, ignoring your unique voice in the belief that everything worth teaching has already been taught. Man, this is a big one, really big one. This is what keeps, a lot of experts from teaching and from sharing knowledge. And again, like everything's kind of been taught, by the time Gary Bencivenga got to the topic, it had all kind of been said, but he had such a unique way of sharing, and he had so much time and energy and money invested in getting results and seeing what won. He was a real authority. And when Gary talks about it, you go, I'm listening to everything this guy says. It feels like he's the first guy to talk about it, but he'll be the first to tell you, I'm just, I learned this stuff from Danny Kennedy and from Hopkins and all these greats and Ogilvy. So it's the same with us. We're all experts in our own way, and we're all experts to the people who need to hear what we're talking about at the given time. And nobody else is going to say it like you say it. Your unique DNA, your unique life experience is what makes it unique. And there's just people who are going to resonate with the information coming from you more than they are other people. And that's why there's always sort of new gurus emerging, because they just decided, well, I'm going to teach this, even though it may have already been taught. I've got a unique way of looking at it, and that's going to resonate with people. And what it does for you, again, personally, it's not just about creating content. It's about you discovering your voice of authority, sort of awakening this guru inside. Not that everybody has to become a guru. I kind of hate that word, but this idea that, wow, I do have something to teach. I do have something to say, and it's affecting people, and they're writing to me and they're telling me it's awesome that I shared this, and they thought about it on their walk last night, and you're going, wow, like I sat here and wrote something, and this other person, walked their dog for an hour and pondered what I had written. That's pretty damn cool. And it starts with a small audience, and it just grows from there. It's a very organic process. But the worst thing you can do is discount anything that you feel worthy of teaching just because you think it's already been taught by better, smarter, more experienced people. That's total BS. And then, mistaking any advice as good advice. And again, this is just about having a community, being plugged in, not accepting just any advice is good advice, like putting it to the test and, really having your own filter for what's real for you and what's not. So that's what that post is all about. Let me check back in and see what you guys are saying. Yeah. Perpetual student is the death of Ray's perception. Yeah. Good. Nice, Colin. Very cool. Sorry about not chatting, but I have a phone in one hand. Cesari's cooking. Can I have your own filter for what's real? Yeah. So true. Hey, Carolyn, good to see you here. Welcome to the Chief Chat. Tanya, it's the era of gurus. Is it? Yeah, I think it's always the era of gurus, isn't it? I don't know. So, all right, let's get to some of your questions. And again, if you have a question, try to use the question format. It just puts it like in a little red box, so I know it's a question. But I'll scroll through and get caught up with the comments here real quick. Let me put the camera back on. Here we go. Hello. Okay, so yeah, okay, Marcin and Rob are talking. Rob's got an admin problem. There's a person I got to talk to. Yeah, sorry about that, Rob. Yeah, I don't know. We're having some funky issues backstage with some of the functionality of the site. Nothing major, but I'm sure we can get it worked out for you. So Marcin will help you. Thank you, Marcin. Cool. Colin, let's have a hot seat. What do you want to talk about? Let's just bring you on. I'm going to invite you as a speaker. And if you got camera and mic, we'll just go at it. By the way, my favorite new drink. Did I tell you this already? I'm not a big Starbucks guy, but I decided I'm going to start drinking less coffee and more tea. And have you had the Oprah chai latte? Hey, what's up, Colin?
Dude, what's going on?
How are you, buddy? Good to see you, man.
You got a chai latte. I got an Americano. Cheers, mate.
Oh, we're so obvious. Look at that. This is you know what I love about this drink? It's Oprah's special blend, and as you would imagine, that makes it extra delicious. But I like to walk up to the counter and say, "Yes, I'll take a venti hot Oprah." And I don't get as many, laughs from it as I would expect, but it's nice when somebody can't help but chuckle.
I like the. I'll ask them to put Superman or something, some name like Frank, and they just know that it's not my name.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
exactly.
Your name for the cup, George, and they just.
Isn't it funny how even if you're saying a legit name and it's not yours, you have this weird, it feels weird to lie, and people can kind of sense it.
Oh yeah, they immediately pick it up. They're like, "Okay, George."
Yeah, fine, George. It's Eduardo. So Elvis, I always like using Elvis as a fun one. Yeah, it's Elvis. Yeah. They go, "Oh, well, maybe that is his name. I don't want to insult you if your name's Elvis." So what is shaking, my man? It's good to talk to you again.
Yeah, good things going on. The copy that I'd love to review is I sent out a 9-word email, and basically to set some context, I started this list. I've got a small group of people, 50 people on the list. Okay. But because I send out a weekly email or a daily email every week, every weekday, they're pretty responsive. So, and usually the subject lines are like how to X or Y X or the 3 steps to or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then I'll teach content or share a link to a video. So it's usually those are the type of headlines or subject lines. And then just this week I sent out one with question ... So it got probably the most opens. And then out of 50 people, 5 people responded to the email. And that's what I'd love to go over, because what happened was I got these 5 responses. Once I got the responses, I constructed the actual offer.
Oh, okay.
And then I sent the offer and the reply to the people and didn't get response from that. So maybe there's something that either, I just like to have a couple more minds on it.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about who's on this list, what they kind of came for, and then let's look at the email.
Yeah, sure.
And tell me, like, what is your end goal? Like, what's the process you're looking to bring in?
Well, the end target here is for that when I find something that works, like when I find a sequence that works like this, I'll be able to replicate it. So I want to have an offer that for this 9-word email strategy, mm-hmm. When I send it out, it's like I can rely on its effectiveness. So that's the target from here is there any language that I'm saying in the offer that's like, makes you think, I don't know about this, or okay. Hesitation, anything right. like that to improve the copy.
So right now you're not looking to disqualify anybody. You're looking to just get people on the phone so you can understand if what you have in mind is going to be a fit. And
yeah,
people are going to want. Yeah. So
just in saying that, I think that's part of the answer actually is to disqualify more people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like that email I just kind of read through. What was interesting about it was I wasn't like purposely disqualifying anybody, but just because of how I was talking about freelancing at that level, Like if you're brand new to freelancing or you're not working with clients yet, you're not having any of these emotions or feeling any of these pain points that I'm pointing out. So you're naturally, at the end of my call to action is, if this is something you'd like help with, let's have a talk. But if you're like, man, I don't even know what he means, like to worry about that, you're not going to reach out. Right. Mm-hmm. So sometimes in giving content, you just at the level you're talking about stuff, you can disqualify people, right? Without having to directly say, here's who this is not for. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
should I send it to you via Copy Chief? Through a form or email?
That, and then, let's do that.
Okay, cool.
Send me a private message and I can pull that up.
Sure.
And I can show that on the screen.
Okay, here we go. Start new conversation.
Albuquerque. Reading Paul's comment here.
Okay, cool. Just sent it through.
All right, great. Let me go. We'll pull it up and then we'll. The other thread I'm dying to read through is Angie's thread about the Passion Project. I'm excited about that, Angie. Okay, great. I see you here. Okay, cool. Let me share a screen. Ooh, sorry about the jumping around. I got a little makeshift stand today. Okay. All right. So 50 subscribers on the list. I send daily weekday emails on marketing on what does marketing times mean?
Oh, marketing tips. I think I was trying to say that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. A lot of subject lines are how to, why, 3 steps. Yep. After 3 weeks, I send this email. Subject, question, body. Would you like me to create a lead gen system for you, Colin? Okay. Hey, Melinda. Awesome. Thanks for getting back. This is fairly high level service. The service can be scaled in price if price is an issue right now, but just laying out top level version for you first. Here's the basic summary of everything included. Your own marketing ebook that positions you as an expert, website designed specifically for lead gen, database with 10 written for you email follow-ups. All of that is done for you in under 30 days guaranteed. Starts by me interviewing you over 4 sessions. My team takes those interviews, gets transcribed. Once they opt into 10 emails. Okay, cool. So it's kind of like almost like Dean Jackson's 90-minute book, but with a complete marketing system. Yeah.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, this is the strategy that Dean taught. And, I kind of keep, if I could become Dean Jackson for a day, that's how I write the copy is like, how would the relaxed Yoda Dean Jackson talk?
Right. Right. Well, first of all, he would lower his voice and he'd say, "What?" And that's just the thing. Nobody actually wants the Cracker Jacks. They just want the prize inside.
Hi, this is Dean Jackson.
You're the only 2 guys on the planet with a Dean Jackson impression. This is Dean Jackson.
I'm Dean Jackson, and he's Joe Polish, and this is the I Love Marketing podcast.
That's pretty good. Okay, so let's see. All right, so for me, and Dean worked with me on the 9-word email for the book, the 60-second sales hook, and I've talked about it a lot and how it was so effective I had to turn it off, right? And Dean hates that because he'd rather I find a way to automate it, but I haven't discovered that yet. But so this it's just to bring everybody on the call and everybody who watches this later into the moment. The whole idea of the 9-word email is, you've gotten people to download something, take some action, and then you send out a really simple open-ended email asking if they're interested in something, or not even that. So for mine, for the 60-second sales hook, the sequence was this. I sent out an email to my existing list that said, hey, I just released a brand new book. It's called The 60-Second Sales Hook. Check it out and let me know what you think. That was it. Like, that alone is a revelation. Like, normally you'd write something, here's why I wrote this book and here's what you can accomplish when you read it, right? It was just literally that. So that got a huge reaction. And then the follow-up to that was, hey, you're one of the first to download the 60-second sales hook. What business are you in? Mm-hmm. And it was unbelievable, the responses I would get to that email. I've never seen anything work exactly as the expert said it would work. Really incredible. And so the lesson was, and the magic of it was, it's such an open-ended question, because people would write me and they'd even, sometimes people go, hey, nice Dean Jackson 9-word email. And then they'd answer me, right? Even though they knew what it was, they still, it opens such a loop that it's hard not to answer it. So what I see with yours here, Colin, would you like me to create a lead gen system for you? I think it's good, but I'm wondering if it's too big of a question in some ways, right? Like, maybe there's a step before this. So maybe the real question is, so subject is question body. What kind of system are you using for lead gen right now? Or do you have a lead gen system in place right now? Or that feels a little whiskery even. What's your favorite lead gen system, or what's your, maybe not even say lead gen system feels too formal. How
do you generate leads right now?
There you go. Exactly. How are you generating leads, or what, even if it's more like, because even that is like a little bit like, this feels like a trap. What if if like, what would Dean Jackson would say? What if it was like just something you'd say at the coffee shop?
Right.
So it'd be like, what's worked best for you for generating leads? And so it really feels like a sincere question, rather than, based on your answer, I'm going to come at you with something, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I think we keep breaking it down until its simplest form. And let's see, maybe some of the tribe is weighing in here.
Can I see the chat as well on the screen?
You should be able to, see it. You have some option on the left there. If the top one is chat, the little blue.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, there's no copy in the chat. All as well.
Try if you see a Webinar Gem Studio box there, maybe it's that chat. I don't know.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah. So Dean, what business are you in? Yeah, that was. I agree. And so yeah, these guys are having another conversation. Okay, cool. So Paul's saying the question is item based, not impact based. Yep, that's a good note there. That's very true. Would you like me to create a yes system for you? That's pretty good. You see, that's a good point that Paul's making. It's based on result, not on impact, as he's putting it, not item. So that's what stood out to me when you say, would you like me to create a lead gen system? My reaction to that is, what does that even look like? Like, is what lead gen system to me look like what it looks like to you? It feels complicated, and it's a big thing to get involved with. So if you either do what I did, which is just get a dialogue on what business are you in? Like, you might even just try that one.
Right.
What business are you in? Hey, Colin here. Thanks for being a subscriber. What business are you in? And then from there, since you're talking about pretty low volume, you said you sent it out to 50 people or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, it did, because it's been so long. I mean, primarily the conversation in the emails have been around lead generation. So they've been educated and just been seeing the subject lines to do with lead generation over a long period of time. And because I've got client work already, like I'm promoting some events and doing that, it's like I haven't promoted anything to them. So this is over a long period of time of offering nothing to them
Yeah,
other than
right.
just value.
Sure. Yeah, cold list. I mean, that's the amazing 9-word email that magically revives dead leads or whatever the headline is. I mean, and it really does. It's exactly for this purpose.
Yeah.
I've invited John on. Let's see if John's prepared to come on and share. John's a badass copywriter, does a lot of work with email. And he's saying, we use something like it on our customer list after someone makes a purchase. Do you need any help getting started? Mm-hmm. So my first thought is, can you tie it into the magnet? So is there a lead magnet that got them on the list?
Yeah, there is. Salesconversionsecrets.com is the URL, but it's like, you know, I was sitting in Quebec in the summer, and I was just bulletizing results that I had produced. So I was like, you know, the $20,000 timeline selling sheet, a sheet that I used to sell Dan Sullivan's coaching program.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just bulleting out these 7 things and put it on a landing page and said, hey, opt in for this, and over the next 7 days, I'm going to give you these things. And then I kind of just left the landing page up. So it's there, but the lead magnet is 7 tips that are not really related to each other, but valuable in one context.
Right. Okay.
So it can be, I think another dimension to it is also just creating a singular lead magnet so that it presupposes that the conversation would be about X topic.
Right. Okay, cool. John or Dean, I've invited you both. I don't know if you're getting that invite or if you are prepared and willing to come on, but I'd love to have you guys come on and jam on this a little bit, because you're making great points in the so John said that, and Dean made a great point. You know, stick with being personal and their needs as opposed to selling your services so quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, so it's really a it's a really a cheese and whiskers scenario, and it's so easy to slip whiskers in there. Yeah, I tell the story about when I was writing. That's literally Dean's on the phone with me, and I'm, hey John, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
And I'm like, he's having to stop me from writing any more words. I literally go, no, like, it's done. Just close that window. And I'm like wanting so much to write more, and it's incredible how that instinct develops. So John, thanks for jumping on with us, brother. John Belkowitz, everybody. Yeah, tell us about your thoughts on this and this email, where it comes in your sequence.
So like I was saying, we use it in a customer follow-up sequence, usually about the 3rd email in the autoresponder, just to try to, I guess, kind of like a survey, to see what hurdles they have for consuming the content. And so it's just a short email and says, do you need help getting started, or do you need help with anything? And the replies just pour in. And I mean, they list pages of problems they're having, life stories.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you so much content to one, then go back and refine your offer on the front end.
Yeah.
But 2, then to start interacting. You know.
Yeah. Which is the point of any email like that, right? Really, is like just to create a dialogue, and of course you have to have the support in place to do it.
Yeah.
Which is why I turned mine.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is why I turned mine off, because I just hated the idea of not being able to respond personally or let them just sit there with no response. So by Colin, I think you're in a good position to be able to handle the volume, because like you said, you've been doing other stuff. And so, yeah, I would just kind of, now when you say 50 people, is it just a 50 people list, or did you just test this with a small segment?
No, it's just a 50-person list.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the only unfortunate thing is now we can't, we got to wait to test another thing. But if you're doing a round of teaching and sending out some good content emails, and then send another one with a more open-ended question, like, what can I help you with, or what business are you in, something real general. Like just it's all about just getting them to respond. What business are you in is a great one, because it's just such a natural way to start a conversation. So
I think that'll be the thing, is both those two, creating a new landing page and sort of lead magnet, so that it's about the topic of specifically lead generation, and then on the back end, what business are you in? I think that'll start a better conversation. And you're right. You know, the 9-word email that I wrote, would you like me to? It presupposes we're gonna, like, it's all whiskers. So
Right.
just being able to even think about that first, it makes sense why the responses after the actual offer weren't in alignment, because it sort of starts off on leaning back as opposed to forward.
Right. Yeah, the red flags go up. They're feeling defensive. It's obviously that you have something to offer them, and even if they like you, it's a scary proposition. They have no idea what it might cost if they could afford it. You know, and so there's just all these barriers, all this friction to even having a conversation with you.
I was going to suggest too. I don't know how tied in all the tips you've been giving them are, but even an email that just says something to the effect of, "Do you need help implementing any of the tips I've been giving you?" Right? Because then some of the responses you'll get, you may find that none of them are based on lead magnets or lead generation. I mean, I don't know what kind of content you're giving them in that funnel between the time that they opt in and then this particular email hits them, but that keeps it open-ended, but you're still asking if they need any help. Right? So they see it as an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And then it give you an indication of what's resonating as well, too, right?
Right.
And do you, Colin, do you ask for response or reply in your emails?
Yeah, a bunch of them I do. Hit reply and let me know what you got from this specific thing.
Right. So I would refine that to say a more specific question, right? So let's just say you're talking about, I was going to say testimonials. That's not a good topic. Let's just say you're writing something about headlines, and at the end you'd say, here's a quick challenge for you, or you say, reply and send me the most recent headline you've written that you felt good about, or send me the most recent headline you've written that you struggled with, right? And they're going, okay, like, who doesn't want help with their headline, you know, because that's one thing that we sit in a vacuum so much and try to figure out if it's good or not. So if you offer, hey, let me take a look at it. And again, with 50 people, you could do this all day long. If you're getting 5 responses, I was getting about a 20-25% response to what business are you in.
Wow.
And even if you got that, you're talking about 10 people, right? So it'd be pretty cool, fun, and easy to keep up with that volume. So that's a great tip, John. And I would do that. I would just try to, you know, keep the dialogue as simple as possible.
What have you guys found about how to the line of congruency between when they opt in for something specific to the autoresponders after that? Have you played, you know, quote unquote jazz, where you talk about, like, if they opt in for something like the lead magnet and then you send out content about headlines and or autoresponders, is there a limit to how divergent you can go, or what's your experience with divergence versus sort of that line of singular congruency?
Yeah. John, I'm sure you got some great intel on this, because you guys handle a lot of topics with weight loss, fitness. I'll just tell you from my experience, it's definitely an issue, something we're working on now to optimize the conversation because, you know, I get 350 or so leads organically into my funnel every month just from all the podcasts I've done, right? So those are really good leads, because they've sat and listened to me talk and teach long enough to go, I got to get this guy's book, right? And so I'm not doing the proper job of taking them, giving them more of what they've already asked for in regards to story, you know, short sales messaging, and then transitioning them into, you know, bigger copy topics, and saying, you know, it all happens in Copy Chief. So they're basically just right on my broadcast list. And I think we do a pretty good job. Jody writes the Tuesday email that basically sums up one of the threads in Copy Chief, right? And so he teaches a lesson within that, and it might be about testimonials, it might be about story, it might be about all kinds of stuff. So I think that helps them because I'm sure there's an interest there. But I think this, as much as you can stay on topic and slowly begin expanding that topic, is your best bet. To come out of to ask them about lead gen, have a lead magnet about how to get more leads, and then start sending stuff out of nowhere about headlines. They might be going, I don't even know what he means by a headline. I don't work for a newspaper. Like, what's he even talking about? You know, John, what's your take on that?
Yeah, no, pretty much the same thing. I mean, we do a lot of segmenting, right, and a lot of tagging and stuff. So for me, it always starts with looking specifically on how you're bringing them in. You know, what is the conversation you're starting by bringing them in, trying to stay on topic with that as much as you can initially. And when you introduce them to a new concept, always tying it back to the thing that brought them in, because that's why they're there, right? So it's understanding that level of awareness, and depending on what level of awareness they're at when you bring them in, you start to educate them through new levels, right? So as long as you're following the if you look at Eugene Schwartz's stuff, right, the levels of awareness and sophistication, you kind of walk them through that track as it relates to your product, whatever your end game is. So we have different autoresponders that'll set different lengths for chunks of content that we walk them through before we branch them out to something else, all depending on what brought them in. You know, so like if you're bringing somebody in off of like a coupon who's like a price shopper, it's very different how you address them than when you bring somebody in who's only aware of their problem but has no idea what the solution is. You know, so for us, it always starts with really getting clear on what the prospect's mindset is, what their awareness is as it relates to our product, our market, the solution, whether or not they know there's a solution, what their problem is, right? Because any problem is multi-layered, you know. So again, it's really trying to refine and be very, very on point with where they're at currently.
Yeah.
But that changes over time, because the cool thing is once you get them into the autoresponder sequence, you know where they are at the start mentally, and then you can dictate where they get to with their train of thought and their awareness through how you develop them and breed them through the content.
Right.
You know, so as long as you're aware of that, then it's actually not, I want to say it's easy, but, you know, you're in charge of the content flow and the content delivery. But again, it's always coming back to what initially brought them in first. You know?
That's cool.
Yeah, you're not feeling around in the dark and hoping something's going to resonate.
Right.
Yeah,
otherwise, you've got the wrong message to the wrong person.
Yeah, it's a shame to waste people's attention. Who said it recently? The best thing people can pay us is you, Colin. The best thing people, was it you? Oh no, it was Ash on a podcast yesterday. Best thing people can pay us is their attention.
Right.
Especially this day and age. And it's not just that initial attention, it's ongoing. Like, are we delivering on what they are expecting in a raise their hand to learn more about? So
I think a good analogy to tie it back into the whole mentor thing from the beginning of the chat is, I'm sure everybody here can relate. If you think about how you've been exposed to different gurus like within the direct response industry, whether it's copywriting or just sort of email marketing side. Like I think back and look at how I got from an AWAI course to a Clayton Makepeace to a Carlton to a Rogers, to a Ben Settle, and I came in off of one mindset, went through someone's content, they introduced me to a new concept and somebody else, and then I kind of followed that track. So you do the same thing within your autoresponder sequence. You just have to be conscious of it.
Yeah, that's super useful. I mean, just thinking about getting back to the point of thinking about people's problems. That's a really elegant way to create content that resonates and sort of writes itself, because it's not about what I'm thinking, it's about just speaking better about what they feel, which is going to resonate with them even more anyway. So that's really great reminder, and I can see that really over this next week. That's what I'm going to incorporate. I'll go and create the lead magnet and the first couple of autoresponders with that main thing in mind. So I really appreciate that.
Cool, brother.
Cool. Yeah, I think the one last thing, just the one thing to keep in mind too, which I know a lot of people run into this issue. I've run into it many times in the past. Still do if I'm not paying attention. Is you can't talk to everybody at the same time, right? And so your product is something different. If you have 10 different people in front of you, your product means something different to those 10 different people, right? It might mean 10 different things depending on where their head is at in relation to your product and the problem that you're solving for them. So when it comes to creating that funnel, you might create 5 different lead magnets that all lead back to the same service, right? But you're specifically choosing to address a specific type of person, a specific type of mindset. And then your content in those funnels is different depending on that person. So it creates more work, but just like Kevin was saying with the email that he sent out about the mentorship, now he's getting more targeted responses, less responses, but more targeted. It's more fruitful, right? He's hitting on a much more specific vibe in that content compared to the first round.
Yep.
Good stuff.
That is
Really good stuff.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So thanks, Colin, for coming on and
absolutely
hot seating with us. And
I appreciate it, guys. Really
yeah,
appreciate
of course, man. Our pleasure. And if that's all for today, anybody, I don't see any other questions. Dean, my man, saying Dan Sullivan only attracts clients who want what he has. They're problem aware and know that there's a solution, but don't know the solution yet. They're highly motivated prospects. Yeah.
Do you just out of curiosity, can you send out the chat? Because the chat's awesome in this as well, but it's only the video that comes out from the Chief Chat.
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I'll have to look into that. If anybody knows Webinar Jam who's here and knows if that's an option, it is the webinar. It says Webinar Jam in the top corner, so I'm guessing we're there in their chat window. I will definitely find that out. I'll go in the Wendy says question below, but I don't see it, Wendy. Ross will know. Ross knows all.
Do you send each lead magnet respondee to a different mailing list / segment is Wendy's question.
Okay.
Retype it.
Lead magnet respondee to a different mailing. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, I think that's what's kind of what John's saying here is
100%.
You bring, so you write an autoresponder series for each lead magnet. So let's say it's ultimately they all what we're selling here is a new body weight workout regimen with a unique hook, but we know that the people who are going to want it might be dealing with a series of issues, right? It might be that they're just looking to lose that last 10 pounds. It could be women who it's after delivering a baby, after pregnancy, they want to lose that weight. It's men who want to be more agile and not feel like they can't keep up with the younger dudes on the court, right, John? I mean, it could be all these things, and so you might write a lead magnet that looks, feels, and acts completely different, obviously, for a dude who wants bigger pecs compared to a new mom who wants to lose the baby weight. Couldn't be more differently motivated people, but you know that your system will work for both of them. So you just treat those like totally separate funnels and write the autoresponder. And then I don't know then the whole topic of, well, if you know you're attracting all these different avatars into the product, how does that factor into designing the packaging and the landing page for that offer, John? Like, are you really conscious about being gender neutral and things like that if that's the case, or do you stick with men or women per product?
Well, yeah, so it's relative. I mean, because you can wind up having a single product and creating 20 different meat weights into that product, right? So for me, what we look at then is to some degree you might create a sales page with evergreen copy, and then that's when you create your different article landers, and you would drive traffic first to the article lander. That's very, very specific. So then you have to look at your traffic intake source. So Facebook's a great example because you can target down so deep in Facebook. I mean, you can grab people who like all other mom products, right, and choose only people who are active, who Facebook considers high credit card users and who make online purchases. I mean, you could choose your demographic. You can dive so very deep and only show that ad to that group of people, so you're talking to moms who are looking to lose weight. Drive them to an article lander that's specific to them, right? Whatever you decide your topic is, your premise is for that lander, and then you set up your product lander drives to the sales page, which has your evergreen content. So I mean, you can do it that way. each case is a little bit relative, but that's a general way in which we would tackle it. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, good stuff. Love it. I love these topics that emerge that we just couldn't have planned, you know. Like, this is all really, really good stuff. Okay, Tanya, yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up for everybody here. We're right at an hour. I don't like these to go over, just so we keep it replay friendly. But thanks, everybody, for being here. We'll be back next week. Thank you. Actually, won't be back next. It's Thanksgiving here in the States. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Of course, we'll be active in the forums all week, but we won't have a chief chat next week because I know myself and everybody else will be all bundled up with family and pumpkin pie. And by the way, you'll love this, John. I'm going for a nutrition consult with a nutritionist Saturday. Could there be a worse possible time Thanksgiving week to start a new eating regimen? So it's kind of funny, but
just wait till January 1st. Just let it go.
I know, but I'm not doing that. That's what people do. They go, "Oh, I'll start next year. Screw that. I'm starting now." So all right, everybody. Okay, Angie. Yeah. Please bug me. All right, guys. We'll see you inside the threads. Thanks, Colin. Thanks, John. See you guys there.
Take care, everyone.